Hey guys, welcome to the channel EH Studios. Today's video topic is how Star Wars, now called Star Wars A New Hope, blew people away in 1977. Now, this film changed movies, it changed cinema. It changed how films were watched, and it changed how films were made. It changed a lot of things about films. Now, one thing about the films that really blew people away was that how hard they worked to make good quality. When I mean good quality, I mean quality in everything, in the story and everything else. So here's how Star Wars blew people away in 1977. The first thing that blew people away, and we're going to start with this, is the groundbreaking story. The groundbreaking story of fantasy. This was a fantasy story, but it was well done. It was a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, and when we see those texts, the audience goes, "Oh, okay, we know where we are." They immediately go, "We know where we are. We're in a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away." So we're not involved in Earth or any of that. That's all. That hardly exists. I mean, it does, but it's in a different galaxy, right? So the one thing about this, the Star Wars, is that what it really did was it created a whole new world that was so popular that there's so much stuff. There's films, comic books, fan films. There's so many things to go off of Star Wars because it was so popular, and it was because it was creating a world of aliens. But not only that, it created not just like aliens, because that has been done before. Because you're like, well, then why didn't Star Trek become as popular? This one was about a galactic war between an evil dude in a black suit who goes it's creepy breathing sounds and has an awesome mask. There's stormtroopers. Everything was new back then. Everything was crazy. Even the Death Star was about blowing up planets. When we think about it now, we're used to it, but back then, that's creepy. That's crazy. You're blowing up, and it might be like Earth blowing up, or Mars blowing up, or a planet like that, just going poof and just blowing up into ash and rocks and stuff, and that's pretty freaky. I mean, yeah. Also, this the Star Wars: A New Hope. What it really did was, because it created this whole new world. The stormtroopers, the way they talk, and like with their little voice thingies, and the sets, and the world, and the lightsabers. The Jedi Knights are like these wizards, but they're not just wizards. They have wizardy powers, but they can also do things like, they're skilled fighters. They're like knights. They're like the mix between wizards and knights. They're very highly inspired from knights, because knights had swords. They would go fighting and they'd battle. And back then, before this film came out, because this film, they were extinct, but back then, like in the Knights of the Old Republic, which is kind of like a thing now. It wasn't a thing back then, but there would always be tons of knights, and I mean, like, there would be tons of Sith and Jedi Knights who would be fighting, just like how there would be knights for one castle and the other castle in like the medieval times fighting. And then it was having wizardy powers, and the lightsaber itself. That's really cool, and it's like one of the most iconic movie weapons of all time. So inventing something called the lightsaber that goes around, that swings around, it's like, and the visual effects for it were so good. But yeah, the storyline and the plot and all that was great. Next thing, the groundbreaking visual effects. Okay, the visual effects are amazing in this film, and they still stand up today. Some things were redone, like the lightsabers, because they weren't as good, but they still looked fine. They still looked great. It's crazy that the visual effects still stand out. If you go back and look at like the old Star Trek films with William Shatner and films and TV shows, they're really cheesy and they have like bad effects. Well, I guess they went back and redid those effects, but the effects were pretty bad. But here, it was great. In the old Star Trek one, you'd see and I'm not saying I don't like Star Trek, I love Star Trek, but the little ship would be like shaking and it'd be like ding, ding, and like the star background, everything looked, it was hard to believe that was actually in space. For Star Wars, the opening shot with the planets, and then there's the ship coming down, it looks perfect. Like the idea, just seeing the ship coming down so sleek and smooth, and then having it battle this other ship, it's amazing. Like that effects, the effects, it looks like you're in space. It looks like the ships are actually there. Well, they look, of course, they look like they're actually there, but they also look like they're real. They're like real ships, not just a tiny model being put in a weird background. It's actually, and it looks like it's moving smooth like a ship should. It's moving the way it should, and that's the beginning of it. The laser effects were good. The lightsaber was amazing. And the idea of blowing up an entire planet, that was great. That was great. All the visual effects in this film still stand out. Even though George Lucas has gone back and re-added stuff for the special editions, the visual effects that are still there, which most of them, because the visual effects that haven't been, the original visual effects are just amazing. They still stand up perfectly. That's a big plus for a film that was made back in 1977. Okay, next is the sound. Now, yeah, the sound effects were great, and we're going to talk about that. But another thing is the sound quality. Now, back in old films, maybe around that time, whenever someone would scream really loudly, and you can hear this in movies like the Christopher Reeve Superman film, when Lex Luthor goes, ah, and screams for some reason. I don't know why he did, but he just does. The sound is so bad, and when you realize you watch tons of other movies, and all the sound of the people screaming back in those films. Superman was made 1 year after Star Wars, and all the movies going back to the 60s, farther back than that, but like 60s Star Trek, Superman films, whenever someone screams, it sounds the same in every film because of the sound quality. So the way that they scream sounds the same in every single film. It's weird. Well, here, the sound quality was so clear, and it was good, and it was great. Also, the sound effects, we have to talk about that, obviously. The lightsaber, they had to do all that from scratch. Like, they were using, like, Ben Burtt, the sound designer, was using, like, a wire to, like, create the laser sound, which actually makes sense when you go listen back to it, but the sound was really good. And the lightsaber has never existed before. They had to create a whole new sound. R2-D2 even, the beeping sound. They had to find that. They had to find the right sound out of something that never existed before. Now, sound is much more advanced and sound can be created so much easier now. But back then, they had to do it all out of scratch. Also, in one scene, when there's the bridge scene and they're shooting up the stormtroopers, they shoot one of the stormtroopers, gets shot, falls off, and you hear the Wilhelm scream. If you don't know what the Wilhelm scream is, in an old movie, a guy got eaten by a crocodile and made this scream. And then when Ben Burtt was going through sound, there was a sound effect named "Man is eaten by crocodile," or "Man is bit by a crocodile," or something. And it was the Wilhelm scream of him, and that got put in Star Wars. And now it's in like almost 400 different movies. It's in Lord of the Rings, it's in Indiana Jones, it's in so many other movies that I can't even list right now. But there's like compilations of different movies that have the Wilhelm scream. It's really funny actually. But that sound, was the first film to have that sound, and now it's so popular. Star Wars has done so many great things. and it deserves a lot of credit for what it really did there, because it had an amazing story and a new world, realistic effects, realistic sound. What I'd like to say is the quality. The quality was amazing. And when I mean quality in visual effects, quality in sound, quality in the story. Most importantly, the story. But it's just good quality in general. It's amazing quality. That's what I love about this film. So guys, tell me down in the comments below how you think Star Wars would have blown people away in 1977, or how it blew you away if you were alive in 1977. I was not, but you may have been. I do not know. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more great content like this. Check out, in a few days, there's going to be a movie review for Captain Marvel being posted on the channel. So, depending on when you're watching this, that video may already be on the channel, or it's about to come out. Either way, subscribe if you want to see that, as I said, or go check out this video if it's already there. You can go check. Also, tell me down in the comments below other ideas for videos, and I will take them. I love to hear them. Also, check out my channel. Click on that icon and subscribe. You can see my popular uploads section. Check out my playlists. Check out my gaming videos, and I'll see you next time.